The eggs are not refrigerated in Germany. I repeat, the eggs are not refrigerated in Germany. What is up with that?
Something for me that'll never get old is Americans traveling to Europe and experiencing new things and being absolutely mind blown. I've done it. I'll throw some clips in here too of showing you guys a few things that I did for the first time and things I just didn't know.
Bro, this is 100 times bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
For instance, I went to a Fußballspiel or a football game for the first time, a soccer game we call it in the United States, and was surprised at a few things. I noticed that they didn't have places you could put your beer, right? If you were done drinking it, but you weren't totally finished, you couldn't put your beer in a cup holder. You had to hold on to it the entirety of the game, which I didn't think was a big deal, but I was just like, oh, okay. And then the seating arrangements were different. They were way more affordable compared to what, you know, the pricing is like in the United States for a lot of different types of games across all sports. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting as well. But if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are returning viewers, welcome back. And as always, we are chasing 1 million subscribers. So please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.
Look how small these portions are. I know. Is it tiny? Look. Oh my goodness.
Small?
Subway sandwich. I also haven't been to Europe in so long that I forgot how the caps on their bottles are.
Hold on. Was she saying that sandwich she had in her hand was small? Huh? How big does she want this damn sandwich? Now I understand in the United States, everything's bigger out there. We got giant sandwiches, pizzas, everything, desserts, candies, everything. And that is small to you? I can see that maybe if you've subjected yourself to going to Subway for a while or Quiznos or whatever in the United States, then yeah, maybe that's a little bit smaller than what we're normally used to getting. But in general, that sandwich is not small, bro. It's not giant, but it's a good size. How much bigger do you want the damn sandwich? Another thing too, there's this weird stereotype that the portion sizes in Europe are very small, which is why people stay super slim. That is not true. Depending on where you go, but I can say the portion sizes in Germany are not small, all right? Every single restaurant I went to in Germany, every single restaurant, the sizes were pretty big. They were filling. It actually gave me a similar vibe to America, to be honest, as far as the portion sizes go. That's what I was concerned about when I went out there. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be filled up off of the food that they have in Germany. I mean, I don't really think there's a whole lot they'll put on your plate. No, they will fill that plate. Trust me.
But I literally broke off the cap because I was like, why is it attached? But the fact that it stays on is so genius. Why don't Americans do this? The TikTok filter is even different. I look way better here than on the American TikTok. I just had Iberico in Portugal.
I can kind of see what she's talking about with the smaller portion size. I mean, the width of the bread looks a little bit more narrow. I guess the sandwich is more narrow per se, but it's not a small sandwich. Also the cap. Right? The cap on the bottle, I'm not gonna lie, that was incredibly annoying. Incredibly annoying, but it's a very easy fix. Just rip the top off. Obviously, it was put there so you could throw the entirety of the bottle away in recycling and not throw the cap on the ground like a lot of people were doing, but it's annoying. It's definitely annoying. Oh my God. And a lot of people complain about it that live in Europe, right? I remember when I first traveled to Germany and like, oh yeah, I got you a soda, man, open it up. And so I open it up and I'm like, why is the top resisting me? Like I'm twisting it off, but I felt like there was still some extra resistance. And I look and there's this plastic attachment to the base and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh yeah, that's one of the changes they made recently. The caps actually stick to the bottles. Now you can break them off or whatever, but the intent was to make it more efficient to recycle. And I'm like, oh, that's annoying though. While you're drinking, the cap is smacking you in the face. I don't like that. And they're like, yeah, trust me, we don't either.
Yeah. That's good. It's so good. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
And there's no sauce whatsoever.
Oh, is it prosciutto? Oh, it looks like prosciutto. Maybe. Dang. The bread I've had, the different delicacies I've had when I traveled to Europe, delicious. And I've only experienced like less than 1% of what's out there, right? So I'm very excited to go and travel again this year and experience more things because, oh my God, I feel like traveling's got to be one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Absolutely expands my mind. Again, I talked to some coworkers about this recently, but it's very interesting, the people who have traveled versus the people that either have not traveled or have not traveled and refuse to travel. Totally different mindsets. There's this very narrow way of thinking and narrow way of viewing the world when you haven't left your respective home country or town or whatever. And when you do decide to travel outside of your comfort zone, it forces you to think outside the box and it's refreshing.
It'd be so good with a beer.
Yeah, facts.
Also, just to note, I've been in Europe for 6 days I could drink milk here. I could eat eggs, no problem. And I haven't bloated. I'm not gassy whatsoever. 7 days. It's amazing.
See, I made a whole video on this, the food quality differences between Europe and America, and obviously the banned chemicals that are allowed to be in the food in America versus in Europe. Now, I also, again, talked to some friends about this just recently within the last few days, and we were talking about our favorite dishes from the United States. There's a lot. There's a ton of dishes that we love from the United States. All of you guys watching this video would go crazy for some of the dishes we talked about. The thing is, the ingredients inside of what we enjoy, not the best, right? That's exactly why a lot of people that travel to the United States, they gain a lot of weight because the food is delicious and the chemicals inside of our food are pretty diabolical. They're not great for your health, but our food does taste pretty good. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I miss it sometimes. I also did enjoy very much the food in Europe. One big thing that I noticed anywhere I went, like she said, no bloating. My stomach never turned up. Granted, it's been a long time since I've had problems with dairy. My stomach still feels a bit odd, you know what I mean, in the States if I drink, milk and stuff, but I don't know, like in Europe, I drank milk, I ate a bunch of cheese and all that other craziness, and I was fine. If anything, I told you, I lost 7 kilos in 1 week. She's been out there for 6 days. I would not be surprised if she also lost weight. I mean, the biggest thing is all of the food that I ate damn near felt like it was anti-inflammatory. Didn't do anything to my system. All the food that I indulged in, most of the food I indulged in the United States, immediate bloating, breakouts and stuff, pimples, whatever, very lethargic and whatnot. Just not great symptoms. That's small to you? That's what I was saying. That damn sandwich ain't small. That's not a small sandwich. I can promise you she was probably pretty filled after eating all that. European portions ain't small. American portions are just huge. And that's exactly what I was saying. I don't think the European portion sizes are small. American portion sizes are pretty massive. On average, they're pretty massive. But it is funny, the cost of food has gone through the roof in the United States. And I remember like getting a whole big ass meal from McDonald's back in the day, you know what I'm saying? In early 2000s, you could supersize a meal and get like a burger, fries, big ass milkshake, and like, a bunch of other stuff for $3.99 in the early 2000s. Now we're in 2026, and I mean, I haven't gone to McDonald's in forever, but you look at the menu, I mean, an average meal is like about $20. The dollar menu does not exist anymore. Of course, inflation did its thing, and I mean, it's done its thing worldwide as well, but food seems like it's a lot more affordable throughout Europe than it is in the United States. Small? See, everybody's stuck on that small bit. That sandwich was not small. I was very confused too, which is why I paused when I did. I'm like, small? Hold up, what did you say? It's actually a pretty big portion. Consensus across the board. I don't know what she was talking about. I kind of do, but objectively, she's wrong.
Europe is eye candy for Americans. Like, look at this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. Yo, that's literally how I felt when I traveled through Hamburg. Oh my gosh. Hamburg, Germany. I literally just strolled through that city for hours just walking. I think I got on average every single day I was in Hamburg, Germany, probably 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day. That's a lot. I literally was nonstop walking. I was walking with some friends. So I'm like, dude, I have to see everything. Everything is like casually 500 years old. Yeah, everything is like casually older than America out there. So it's just incredible. And looking at relics damn near. It's like you're looking at an entire country's worth of like museum monuments. Walkable cities. That is something I am absolutely infatuated with. Hear me out. I've always said that I think the number one thing the United States needs is walkable cities. If we had public transportation, I mean, the cities we do have very walkable, right? Like, the major cities, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, yes, in some parts for sure. But we need that sentiment all over the rest of the United States. Downtown Chicago has old and hot architect. Yes, I will say that. So one cool thing about the city of Chicago is it was flooded with tons of European architects. So I actually grew up appreciating European architecture from a very young age because a lot of those old Victorian style buildings that we see in a lot of these videos and that a lot of you guys are around, and a lot of the old buildings and stuff that outdate America, right? Guess who flew to the United States to make the same type of buildings? Tons of Europeans. In fact, if you go to Logan Square in Chicago, there's tons of buildings that were designed by European architects and whatnot. They're very intricate. intricate. They bring life into the city, right? So you see these like plain box looking buildings. I'm like, okay, cool. But then next to them, there are these very intricately designed buildings. And I'm like, in America, you have to go to an amusement park to see architecture like that. Or just travel to Chicago because you'll see it there. It's just, I feel like we need to spread it across the rest of the United States because it's nice to share some love a little bit. Seems like most of the other areas, like they're a little too spread out. So we have a lot of issues because of that. But again, America was designed around the automobile and whatnot. So our society is built around our car industry. And that's kind of just how that is.
Now, you guys already know that Europe's breaking news is America's news, right? Right. Well, as an American living in Spain, this is absolutely ridiculous. So I just finished watching the news, Spanish news, and there was no discussion, no debate as to what type of leader, I say that very loosely, what type of leader Trump is. The word authoritarian was said several times. And then they went into a history lesson. Less than 100 years ago, everyone on the panel agreed that he is doing very similar things that the mustache man did. And another
that's crazy. So I have been hearing that a lot, and I heard a lot of comparisons from people in the United States. And then I was hearing a few comparisons outside of the United States, right? I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, maybe they're exaggerating a little bit. But then, most European countries are like, we've seen this play before.
Quick little history lesson that Spain is less than a century out of their own dictatorship.
Wow.
Again, we always knew all eyes were on America. And there's running jokes of we're the laughing stock. No, America's not the laughing stock anymore. The world is concerned for you. The world is concerned for all Americans who know they don't want that. And there were some people like, well, why didn't anybody bring this up when it came to all the other countries that fell under an authoritarian leader? Because no one expected the staple country, the land of the free, the American dream country that all immigrants for decades have dreamed of going to have an authoritarian leader, a racist PDF who is now being described by the rest of the world as another version of the mustache man.
Yeah.
I hate seeing this from the outside in.
Yeah, it is not a good feeling at all. Not a good feeling. I mean, again, it was like ha-has and hee-hees for a long time, and then now it's like the entire world is, whoa, what is going on with the United States right now? Like, seriously, what is going on? It went from like, oh, ha-ha, you guys have a few screws loose to like, y'all lost your rabid-ass minds. What is going on? And the American people collectively are very concerned. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're looking at, we're all concerned. We do not know what's going to happen next. The world does not know what's going to happen next. It seems like we wake up every day to another diabolical headline, another diabolical play from the people at the top, and we kind of just have to suck it up and, I guess, ride along with the patch notes of this new political update. World news is how I know I'm on the right side of history. Well, I'm happy for you because it is very wild right now. Wild. I mean, I think the whole ICE agent thing in the United States is diabolical. It feels like a fever dream. You know what I mean? Like, this can't be real. I wouldn't like wake up one day and go like, you'll never believe the weird like nightmare I just woke up from. Like, this is insane, but it's a real thing. That particular organization to me is the most unstable, unregulated organization we have in the United States currently. And on both sides, there is strong distrust and negative sentiment towards him for obvious reasons. I'm convinced he's the mustache man reincarnated. That's diabolical. It's low-key ironic that the land of the free is under a dictatorship. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that and whatnot. While I don't feel like it's a dictatorship yet, it is feeling very adjacent to that as more events transpire. I'm not even sure where we're at this point, but I do know a lot of people definitely share a very similar sentiment to this comment that we literally just read. Americans are also concerned about America. We are concerned and we are exhausted. We are tired of waking up to wild-ass headlines that we literally feel like we have to pay attention to. Because I miss the days, I say this all the time, I miss the days when I did not give 5 fucks about the news because it seemed like everything was in good hands. It's getting pretty wicked out here. So for you guys, what is that sentiment like? Whenever you guys turn on the news, do you guys get the same chill down your spine as it pertains to the United States? Because we are unpredictable. I mean, even with ourselves, we're attacking ourselves, let alone other people. So do you guys get a little worried too?
One thing nobody warns you about when you come to Germany is how normal depression feels here.
Damn.
But that's not even the most interesting part. What really surprised me is how I met some of the most alive people I've ever been around here. Some of these people light up every room they walk into. But how? Every single time I met somebody like this, though, I've noticed the exact same pattern. They're out here building something, chasing something, just growing their own shit. And my biggest takeaway from all this has been that the same environment that can drain and depress most people can make the ones with an actual mission feel the most alive. These are the type of people we gotta stay around because they pour that positive energy out there. Like, it's a crazy amount of energy you feel when you meet somebody who doesn't wait for their environment around them to change to save them. They just get up and make it happen.
True.
But this leaves me with a question for you. Do you think it's the place that gets people down or the lack of purpose?
That actually makes a lot of sense. So very valid point. When I visited, there was something I did notice about the people out there in Germany, and I've been there quite a bit. He lives out there. It's pretty interesting. So just from me visiting, right, I had, already made a bunch of videos about Germany before, made some friends, and then, they told me their experiences and whatnot, but getting to see it for myself was very interesting. And people did have this sense of gloominess to them. And I kind of ignored it. I'm like, okay, I mean, that's kind of just how the culture is. But genuinely, it did seem like the people on average seemed borderline just gloomy, not a lot of smiles, people's heads down. Like, body language was definitely giving off like, yeah, they just were going through the motions and weren't very happy. Now, you don't have to smile 24/7, but there's just certain things that we do as individuals when we are genuinely satisfied and we appreciate life that other people can pick up on. Like, you're not walking around with a smile on your face, but maybe you're walking around with a little bit more confidence, right? And you're not kind of slouched over and, side to side and glaring at people. You know what I mean? It's a little different. And I noticed that out there too, because I'm like, maybe I'm crazy, right? But there were plenty of happy people that I also bumped into as well. What is the overall atmosphere in your opinion? Do you think that Germans in general have more of a depressing atmosphere throughout Germany? Or is it just a sentiment from people traveling to Germany from the outside looking in? Because from the people that I've asked that have lived there, born and raised in Germany for quite a while, they say it's a mix of both from what I've got from the people that I know that are out there. But again, various answers. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say. I would say, for as much as I've been very critical about the United States, the one thing that I really appreciate is the encouragement to think outside the box and just reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. That possibility is always there, no matter how diabolical we get. And I really think that that's a remarkable thing. It's not very common. I think it's a pretty cool thing. The one cool thing I think we got. Day 3 of trying to get his attention to eat Quarkbällchen. I've actually had these. That was actually one of the very first things I had when I got to Germany, to be honest.
What is this? Oh my God, bro.
And they are delicious. They basically like these little donut pastries, right? These little ball donut pastry things that are covered in sugar. Super delicious. I absolutely love them. I gotta have more of those when I go back. The people that light up the room are the ones who are the most depressed. Hey, well, that is a common sentiment. Unfortunately, that is true in a lot of cases. That's true in a lot of cases. You look at people like Robin Williams, for instance, very bright, likable dude, lit up a whole Christmas tree worth of people in a room, and he unfortunately went out in one of the worst ways. So yeah, very, very valid point. Bro, wait till you get to know Germany better. Yeah, so like I said, I did see a lot of things in Germany where I was like, yeah, I really love like 99.9% of everything out there. And I know people are like, come on, man, you're exaggerating, da-da-da. I'm like, no, like I genuinely love it. I tell people my adventures in Germany all the time and stuff. I adore that country so much. I did notice a sense of gloominess from, Germany a little bit. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can see how it could get pretty gloomy out here. I also think that it depends on who you are around at the end of the day. You can feel gloomy anywhere. You can feel gloomy in where I'm at now, South Korea. You can feel gloomy in the United States, especially now. You can feel gloomy in other countries. It's just who you decide to associate yourself with, what you are doing for yourself, and what resources you have access to, how you're taking care of your own health. There's a lot of factors that play into how you feel. As per usual, thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to start streaming on twitch.tv/JamesBrayGang, scheduled to come out very soon. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow me. The link to my Twitch will be at the top of this description.